Hello, Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus time travelers. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for being here. This is your exclusive first quarter reading for 2026. We'll take a look at January, February, as well as March. Keep in mind, it's a collective general reading, not individualized nor personalized to you. Messages may come through today that don't fully resonate, and if that happens, it's okay. Just means that one message is meant for someone else watching. Interesting how your cards just cut there. So remember to take what fits, how it fits, leave what doesn't, and be sure to check out your other placements. If you don't know what they are, in the description box is a link where you can obtain your free birth chart. Okay, with all of that said, now let's begin. I found it interesting, Scorpio, during meditation for you today, I felt like you were planning something in the first quarter of the year that you weren't necessarily telling everyone about. So we'll see if that comes out in the reading. Okay, tapping into the Scorpio collective now. For Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. What do they need to know for January, February, and March of 2026? What does the Scorpio collective need to know? One more shuffle here. Thank you. For January, we have the Three of Pentacles, we have the Four of Pentacles, and we have the Five of Pentacles. 3, 4, 5. For February, we have the Five of Wands, we have the Empress, and we have the Ten of Cups. For March, we have the Devil, we have the Page of Wands, and we have the Seven of Wands. The underlining energy here, Seven of Cups, Knight of Wands, Knight of Cups. That leaves the Nine of Swords, Two of Wands, Judgment here at the bottom of the deck. Starting to build something here. That's what it looks like. All right, let's clarify this. For Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. For January, we are clarifying the Three of Pentacles, Four of Pentacles, and Five of Pentacles. For February, we are clarifying Five of Wands, the Empress, and the Ten of Cups. For March, we are clarifying the Devil, Page of Wands, and the Seven of Wands. Tell me more about this here for the Scorpio collective. One more shuffle here. Thank you. The Three of Pentacles is clarified by strength. The Four of Pentacles is clarified by the Ace of Cups. The Five of Pentacles is clarified by the Three of Pentacles. You're building something here. Some of you with someone. For February, the Five of Wands is clarified by the Chariot. The Empress is clarified by the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Cups is clarified by Judgment. The Devil is clarified by the Eight of Pentacles. The Page of Wands is clarified by the Six of Cups. And the Seven of Wands is clarified by the Four of Cups. Underlining energy. Two of Swords. Two of Cups. Five of Swords. That leaves the King of Swords, the Hierophant, and Wheel of Fortune here at the bottom of the deck. What a bizarre energy for you. I guess we'll know more when we clarify. Your energy for January, strength to the Three of Pentacles. This is deciding to persevere and endure and be courageous and invest in something or someone. I don't know what this is for you, a situation, environment, or connection. But you are deciding to invest in whomever or whatever this is. And then, like mid-month, you increase your investment. We go from the Three of Pentacles to the Four of Pentacles. So there must be a feeling here on the Scorpio collective of seeing some effort for your results. Like this kind of is a gamble here for you, is what I feel like. This is a gamble in investing in, like I said, a situation, environment, or connection. Then at some point of the month, you're starting to see the potential increase, or the rewards increase, or the profit increase. There's an increase in your investment in whomever or whatever this is, but it's because you're seeing a return on that investment. And so Five of Pentacles to the Three of Pentacles was like, maybe in the beginning of the month I thought about walking away from this or abandoning this concept, this idea, this plan, this situation, environment, or connection. But as I'm investing in it and I'm starting to see improvements and I'm happy with what I'm seeing, I'm not going to abandon it after all. I'm going to continue to work on it. So again, I don't know what plan or dream or goal or situation, environment, or connection that is, this seems very iffy to me. That Four of Pentacles to the Ace of Cups. It's like, okay, all right. It's kind of working out. It makes me happy. Let's see where it goes. And then by the end of the month, you're like, yeah, we're doing this. So then in February, you're deciding to move forward. You're making the conscious decision here, overcoming some doubts, fears, or anxieties that you have, some internal discord. I don't know why you're continually wrestling with whomever or whatever this is, but there's a push and pull here within you, within the Scorpio collective. Like, am I giving? I'm not giving. Okay, I'm going to give. And then Empress to the Ten of Swords. It's like there's an end here to that push and pull. Should I? Shouldn't I? You know, that whole, let's see how it goes. At this point in February, you're like, it's an end to indecision, or it's an end to being iffy. You have made the judgment call, or you will be making the judgment call in February, that whomever, whatever this is, it makes you happy. You enjoy engaging with this, or you enjoy following this path or this plan or this goal for yourself. Again, I don't know specifically what or who it is, but you're determining here in February, it's an end to procrastination or indecision. Yeah. And instead, I'm deciding to move forward with it because at the end of the day, it makes me happy. Then in March, there's a possibility, and this is what I see happening, you begin to overinvest in whatever this is. We go from 3, 4, 5. We decide not to abandon it. We invest it. We have no more changes here in the investment level. And so you go from investing at 3 of Pentacles right to the 8. It's now an obsession that's a little bit unhealthy. You're overgiving. You're repeating something here from the past. And as a result, 7 of Wands to the 4 of Cups, the feeling here is, I did it again. I did it again. I overgave again. Or I put too much pentacle effort into this. Let's begin to clarify. What is this that Scorpio is working on? I don't think you're disappointed in the situation, environment, or connection. I think you're disappointed in yourself because by March you're feeling so good about it that it's almost like you're defaulting maybe on a negative pattern or trait you had, which was to be an overgiver. And once you start overgiving, it's, I don't know, it's no longer balanced or something like that. This is almost like you're mad at yourself. What is Scorpio working on here in January? What are they working on? Clarify that 3 of Pentacles. One more shuffle here. Thank you. Queen of Cups, there you are, whether you're masculine or feminine. The Strength card shows itself again. And the 5 of Cups. Bottom of the deck, 9 of Pentacles. So it's a connection-based reading here for you. I don't know, for some of you, this is a person that you're currently with. So in that context, this would be, it's taking me a lot to continue the connection with this person. But okay, I'm going to hang on to them, kind of like the individuals holding on to the lion here. I'm going to hold on to this person. I'm going to invest, although in moderation. Then we increase our investment, and it's feeling good. It's reciprocal in nature. There's a feel-good energy here. And then you decide, I'm going to continue investing in the connection here with this person. It's feeling good. I like the way it's going. If it's not your current person or a person from the past, then it's a new person. Same thing. I don't really know how this is going to go. I'm going to open up. I'm going to invest some pentacle resources, time, love, money. Oh, this feels a bit reciprocal in nature, right? 4 of Pentacles, it's like 2 sets of 2 of Pentacles. Like they're balanced, I'm balanced. The contribution to the connection is balanced. And then, I thought, well, I'll give it a try. I'll go out on a few dates. If it doesn't work, I'll just, abandon the connection and continue dating elsewhere, looking for other interests. But then you're like, no, you know what? This kind of works. I like how this is going with this person. So I'm going to continue investing in them. So it could be work related. It could be work I just know that it's a connection-based reading. So whether that's professional, platonic, or romantic. And like I said, for some of you, it's, you know, your past person that you're trying again with them. For others of you, it's your current person. There have been some issues in the connection, but you're choosing to hang on to them and invest, kind of see where it goes. And for others of you, this is new, like a new friend or a new lover. But you're courageous here in the Nine of Wands. You're being persistent. You're being resilient. You're deciding to invest in a connection here, even if you're not quite sure where it's going. Although by the end of the month, you like where it's going. And so you're determining that you're going to continue to invest in it. Empress to the Ten of Swords. I took this as if you are making the judgment call to end the procrastination. This whole, like, it's like you were waffling. I don't know what you were doing there while you were waffling. Excuse me. Still have that damn cough. Why is the Ten of Swords here for the Scorpio collective in February? Why is the Ten of Swords here? One more shuffle here. Thank you. The Ten of Swords is clarified by the King of Swords, the Emperor, and the Star. This is, you're done with the procrastination and the self-sabotaging behavior. So in February, you're making the decision to continue to invest in this person. You're thinking very intellectually at this point, not saying that you normally do, but in regards to this particular connection, you are very clear in your thinking. You're harnessing your intellectual power. You are making the choice to continue investing in this connection. And yeah, for some of you, this is a renewal of a connection, or you're reinvigorating a current one in your life, or if it's new, there's some hope here that this has potential. And so whatever self-sabotaging behaviors you've had in the past, or maybe some toxic attachment styles you've had, you're putting an end to them. You're putting an end to the procrastination. You're putting an end to, I'll wait and see how it goes, because at the end of the day, you're making the judgment call that this person adds to your happiness. Bravo to you. That's fantastic. Devil to the Eight of Pentacles. I think you end up resorting back. And remember, this is predictive, but it's also telling you what could potentially happen. Now that you're seeing the reading, you could choose to not do this in March, which is overgive, which may have been a problem in this connection or in other connections in your life previously. Because you seem to be happy here as long as there's an equal give or take. Like the Chariot is moving, but you know, we have two entities here moving it forward. Same here with that Four of Pentacles. The first thing I thought of was two sets of Two of Pentacles. You know, this is collaboration between you and another individual. You know, again, two people. So I just get the feeling here that we, most of you know I'm a Scorpio moon, we may revert back to a pattern, a toxic trait within ourselves of overgiving. So you may want to take this reading as a precaution to not do this, because this connection here seems to be doing very well throughout January and very much so in February. Tell me about that Devil to the Eight of Pentacles. Tell me about the Devil to the Eight of Pentacles. One more shuffle here. Thank you. You have the Fool. You have that Six of Cups again, and you have the Six of Swords. Bottom of the deck, Nine of Cups. This is, you feel like there is a fresh start in respect to a connection in your life. We're doing it over and it's a renewal, right? A reconciliation. And this feels so good. This feels like we're on a clean slate. This is a new beginning. Our future is bright, right? If this is a current connection where there's been issues, it's like, oh my God, we figured it all out. Everything is so wonderful. By early March, it's like, this is great. If it's a new person, you're dating them, you're like, wow, I really think that this could go the distance. You're excited here. But that Devil to the Six of Cups is the same Six of Cups from here. And I feel like for some of you, this is a repeat of a possible toxic pattern here within the Scorpio collective of overgiving of pentacle resources, time, love, money, commitment. It's suddenly no longer balanced. So I want you to just take this as a caution, this reading, that what you're doing in respect to a connection in your life in January and February is great. You know it's great. You're determining that this has potential and hope and is part of a wish fulfillment for you. It makes you very happy. So I would say in March, do not change what you're doing in February. 9 of Cups, 2 of Wands, 5 of Wands. See? If you do, there will be conflict. And the conflict is because you're overgiving. Once you overgive, you're going to expect more effort from the other person. So there's something here about keeping it balanced. And the only way you can keep it balanced is for you to gauge and monitor how much you're giving. Just because you choose to give more does not mean that the other person is in the same position. Just because you can see this person 20 hours a week does not mean that they can see you 20 hours a week. Just because you could spend, I don't know, $200 going out on a Friday night to be with them doesn't mean that they can do $200 on a Friday night to be with you. So once you start overgiving, whatever it is, pentacle, resource, time, love, money, commitment, devotion, etc., and they can't, forget about the they can't part. You start overgiving, you're now repeating a pattern from the past, a toxic one at that. And then when they can't meet you, everything was great when we were here, but when they can't meet you, then an argument can ensue. So I would take this as a little caution here. Page of Wands to the 6 of Cups. Tell me more about this pattern here that Scorpio is revisiting. Excuse me. Tell me more about this pattern that they are revisiting in March. Tell me more about the pattern. One more shuffle here. Thank you. The pattern. King of Wands, the Hierophant. 2 cards came out. 10 of Cups and the 3 of Wands. Bottom of the deck, Page of Cups. You know, on the surface, it looks very innocent, but we're clarifying why it's a toxic pattern. There is very quick movement on your part in this connection. Like, you're dating someone, they've been in your life, maybe you had a difficult time with them in 2025. You don't know if you want to continue investing in the connection, but then you determine you want to hold on to them. There's reciprocity, and by the end of January, you're deciding to move forward with them. It's just an example. And even though you're a little still, I guess we'll wait and see, in February, at some point in time, you're like, you know what? This person makes me really happy. Everything has been going great. You continue that good feeling into March. As a result, you start to overgive. All of a sudden, you're planning a future with this person. We're going to get married. We're going to have 2.5 kids. We're going to live over here. This is the timetable it's going to work out. You try controlling how this is going to play out, when it's going to play out, how the relationship moves forward, what the end goals are. That's a pattern of control, and that would be a toxic pattern. The same thing if this is like a new person. I don't know if I want to date them. Okay, I guess I'll go on a few dates. All right, seems okay. I don't really know where it's going. You know what? I really like this person. I'm going to stop thinking the worst of them. I'm going to see where it goes. Oh, wow, this person makes me really happy. I'm going to now default to a negative pattern, start overgiving, overgiving, overgiving. Oh, look, I'm writing my name on a piece of paper 100 times in a row with their last name as my last name because I'm picturing us, you know, getting married and having kids, and you're this whole, again, if that's your pattern, that's what's happening, either with the current person or a new person. And then I feel like they can't reciprocate, or they're just not where you're at. And then you get very defensive and you're like, you know what? I don't want this relationship. Forget it. I thought we were on the same page. There are no swords here. Are you communicating what it is that you see for the relationship? Because I don't see you communicating it. I just see you believing that because this is what you feel it could be, that you're going to overgive, and when they can't reciprocate, then you're done with them. Same thing if this is a new person you're dating. Tell me more about this 7 of Wands to the 3 of Cups. Tell me more about the 7 of Wands to the 3 of Cups. And then a little further out from March, then you're like, oh my God, what did I do? You know, because I think you're realizing that you do want this person after all in the 2 of Cups. So whether it's the past person, the current person, or the new person, after you do all this, you're like, oh my God, I did it again. I do see you catching yourself. You literally are like, oh my God, I did it again. Look, Wheel of Fortune. There's another cycle here. I did it again. I started planning some long-term goals with this person in my head. I never communicated it to them. I just presumed this is how it was going to go. Seven of Wands to the Four of Cups. Seven of Cups, Six of Wands, and the Eight of Wands. Bottom of the deck, Two of Cups, Five of Swords. There's the argument. This person needs to move slower or wants to move slower than you do. You're in Knight of Cups, Knight of Wands. I like you. I love you. Let's move forward. And they're like, no. They're like, I love you. I like you. I want to see where it goes. But I'm not looking for Hierophant and the Ten of Cups tomorrow. And you're like, but I am. And they're like, but I'm not. So here's the argument that could result in heartbreak. So I would take this reading as you're doing so well in January. You're continuing to do well in February with this particular connection. I would claim March as, okay, I see the potential for what can happen if I make this error. And just don't make that, because I feel like this is an error. You start feeling so good about someone. I know you, I'm a Scorpio moon, we overgive. And when the other person can't match us, we start to feel slighted and the resentment starts to build. And then by the end of March, you're like, I don't understand, but that's what you had here was fantasy. And I'm not saying it's wrong, and I'm not saying it'll never come true, but not in March, it's not coming true with this person. But you're already picturing it, and if this is someone you're dating, you're already acting like a husband or wife. And they're not. They're still in boyfriend-girlfriend mode. And then you're mad when they're not in husband and wife mode. Well, you never even had the conversation about husband and wife mode. And then it looks like when you do, you're like, I don't understand. We were doing so well. I had this whole fantasy about where we were going. And they're like, yeah, I'm not saying I'll never marry you. I'm just, like to take my time. And then you're heartbroken. And then there's an argument, a pretty heavy argument. Now I see you making up with the person probably towards April, because I have the same Five of Swords with the same Two of Cups, but this time you're embracing and there's no fighting. But why even have this argument? You know what I mean? Why even go through that if we can just not overinvest and start to over fantasize what will be? Maybe just release control in March. Continue to give an equal measure. Don't overinvest and see where it goes, instead of getting lost in the dreaminess of what could be. I feel like March is kind of telling us what could happen if we don't change this. So let's get some advice on what this is. Can we get advice for how Scorpio can avoid that? The overgiving there. There's definitely a feeling here of overgiving. And look, I've been there plenty of times with him, so I get it. I totally get this. This would be like, to not make you feel so alone in this, to give you my example. We've been talking about relocating and where we're moving to one day. And we've talked about a few towns, but we haven't really, nothing is firmly decided. We said at some point this year, we'll go look at those towns in person. We'll see if we like them. It's one thing to see something online. It's another thing to see it in person. So we talked about taking some trips this year to see these different towns and communities throughout the country. And this would be like me going to, or us going to one or two towns. And then suddenly in March, I'm already making plans that he and I are going to move to this town in this state. I've never talked to him about it. And then I just start telling him about these plans. Oh, by the end of the year, we're going to move to, I don't know, Memphis, Tennessee. And he's like, whoa, wait a minute. We never even decided to move to Memphis, Tennessee. Yeah, but when we went there, I really liked it. I could picture us there, right? It's the whole fantasy. It's wishful thinking. I think we'd be really happy there. We should just get married and move there. He's going to be like, no, wait a minute. I said, I'm interested in exploring relocating with you, and that we were going to look at a couple of towns and we were going to make the decision together. I never settled on Memphis, Tennessee. And then I'm going to sit there arguing with him. But when we were there, you said you really liked it. Yeah, I said I really liked it. But there's still, 6 other towns on our list that we have to look at. Just because you picture us living there, 7 of Cups to the 6 of Wands, doesn't mean I picture us living there. So there's something like that here that could potentially happen. because it's like we're putting the, is it the cart before the horse, that type of thing. So let's get advice on how we can avoid this in March. How can we avoid this in March? One more shuffle here. Thank you. How can we avoid this in March? 9 of Cups, 5 of Pentacles, and Temperance. Bottom of the deck, 4 of Wands. Recognize that we are either, because this 5 of Pentacles goes right back to this, recognize that we are either building a new relationship or rebuilding our current connection or a former connection that was in our life. And that rebuilding and building takes time. And success does not come overnight. So how do we avoid overinvesting? Be happy and comfortable and satisfied with where the connection is. You already made the determination that this person makes you happy. So just be patient with the process of building or rebuilding the connection. There's no need to jump ahead to when your spouse is, or when you're married, or when you're going to have kids. I mean, let's say this is your husband, and I don't know, maybe you've gone back and forth on whether or not you're going to have children, you know, and you're like, okay, I don't know, we'll continue talking about it. And then you make the decision here in February, okay, we've decided we're going to have children in the future. Bravo. And then suddenly here, you're doing all these things to get pregnant. And this would be your husband going, whoa, wait a minute. We talked about having children. We didn't talk about you getting pregnant now. We said one day. That could be later on this year. That could be next year. There were things we were going to do. We were going to save money. We were going to make sure that the room was ready. Like, we wanted to make sure we were prepared. And you're like, no, I just want to get pregnant now. I can picture us. We're going to be great parents. And your person's like, yeah, but that's not what we agreed on. We said one day, and now like 2 days later, you want to get pregnant. Like, so that's the vibe that it's giving me. I'm not saying that this person doesn't want what you want. Clearly they do, because they're engaging in this with you, and they showed up in Knight of Pentacles energy. They're just taking it slower for whatever reason. Again, whether because you just started dating, or you just had this conversation to do this, and they're not quite ready to take a leap of faith a week later. You know, there's something like that here happening. So let's see how this person feels about you. Just to give you some insight here. I got 3 of Wands and the Sun card on the split. So how does this person feel about you? Wanting to move forward on whatever goal or plan that you have here with them, whether it's professional, platonic, or romantic. They want to move forward with you on it. How does this person feel about Scorpio? How does this person feel about Scorpio? 9 of Cups at the bottom of the deck. I mean, satisfied, happy. You're a comfort zone, but a healthy comfort zone for them. How does this person feel about Scorpio? Thank you. We have 7 of Pentacles, 3 of Swords, and the 8 of Pentacles. I'm going to interpret this one or two ways. If this is your current person, there was a period in time where they didn't know if the two of you would come back from this heartbreaking situation. Now they're willing to rebuild a connection with you. For others of you, this new person that you're involved with just came out of a heartbreaking situation. Are they investing in a new connection with you? They are, but they're not ready to get married to you tomorrow. They're still dealing with this grief. So take it how it resonates to you. How does this person feel about you? Wanting to build or rebuild after something heartbreaking that happened, either between you and them or them and someone else, but they're not looking to rush this. 6 of Pentacles. They will invest, but they will not overinvest. How else does this person feel about Scorpio? How else does this person feel about Scorpio? One more shuffle. Thank you. If this is work related, this is, I don't know if I want to stay at this job. Okay, I spoke to my boss. Maybe I'll get some kind of raise or promotion. Right now, we'll wait and see how it goes. I've decided to stay at work. Okay, I'm moving forward. I've put an end to the idea of I'm going to look for another job. Yeah, at the end of the day, this place makes me really happy. And then a couple of weeks later, you're like, where's my raise? And the boss is like, what? You're like, where's my raise? I've been working like 50 hours a week. You're only paying me for 40. I came in last Saturday. I didn't get paid. I mean, I'm really putting in the effort. I mean, I thought about leaving this place in January. I decided to give you guys another try. We had a great conversation. I determined that I was happy working here. Where's my raise and promotion? And the boss is like, no, we talked about that being in the future, not 2 weeks after. So that's, you're have the potential here to get a little farther ahead than whomever this other individual is. Seven of Wands, Page of Pentacles, and the Eight of Wands. There's a card behind the Eight of Wands, the Six of Wands. So this person, whoever they are, professional, platonic, or romantic, they're investing, they're establishing a connection with you or reestablishing one with you. They're not giving up on the connection. They want victory with it. They're moving forward with it, but they are in Pentacle energy. Seven of Cups, the Moon, and the Four of Pentacles. They're holding back from investing more in whatever this is with you because they have their own doubts, fears, and insecurities. Page of Swords. They're waiting to see how this goes. So just because it feels great to you and you want to overgive or overspend in March, that's not where they're at. And because we don't have a lot of swords here, if I had to tell you advice without even pulling the card, conversation will be critical. So you're both on the same page and you're not overgiving and you're not assuming that this individual is in the same spot where you're at. It's like you getting in your car and this person getting in their car. And you both agreeing, we're going to 1, 2, 3, I don't know, we're going to 1, 2, 3 Alphabet Street. Okay, you put it in your GPS, they put it in their GPS. You're like highways only because you want the fastest route to 1, 2, 3 ABC Street. And they're like scenic view, no highways, no red lights, you know, and you're getting to 1, 2, 3 Alphabet Street in 2 hours. And they're taking, 8 hours to get there. Same destination. We're heading in the right direction, right? I'm going to meet you there. Yep, going to meet you there. But you never discussed what time you were going to meet one another there. It never came up in the conversation. So you're in 2 cars headed towards the same destination. You get there first. They're nowhere to be found. And now you're calling and texting them going like, where the fuck are you? You're like, oh, well, and they're like, well, I took the scenic route. I avoided highways and I'll be there in like 5.5 hours. And you're like, what? I'm supposed to sit here and wait 5. Well, I didn't tell you not to. I mean, realistically, we didn't even discuss what time we were going to get there. So that's what's happening here. Are they moving towards the same GPS address that you are? Yes. They're just avoiding highways and red lights, which means it's going to take them longer to get there. Anything else Scorpio needs to know about this? Anything else Scorpio needs to know about this? What's showing itself? The Six of Cups, the Six of Swords. Anything else? One more shuffle. Thank you. Six of Cups, Six of Swords, Queen of Pentacles. Give me one more on that. Six of Pentacles. You will both get to the destination you need to go to, that you both want to get to. Provided when you invest your pentacle resources, it's done in equal measure with this person. That means there needs to be conversation. We're both agreeing to go to this place, but when are we arriving? And that's a discussion here that needs to be had. That's your best advice here. You can proceed forward. You don't have to repeat a negative pattern, but you do need to discuss what speed are we getting there. And if you're agreeing to that time to meet at 1, 2, 3 Alphabet Street, then you are responsible for how much you invest. And if you choose to give more, you can't expect more from that person. Because now you've already discussed, we're going to get there at 5 o'clock. That doesn't mean if you get dressed early, because you put more time into getting ready and you leave the house an hour early, it doesn't mean they're going to leave their house an hour early. So you have to be very mindful of your pentacle resource. But yeah, you will be moving forward with this person, provided you don't make that mistake. So a conversation here will need to be had in February, possibly early March, before you start overgiving. You need to be conscious of when you start to overgive, when you start to overplan, when you start to overprepare. There needs to be a conversation. We're getting to this destination. Okay, what time works for you? What time works for me? Otherwise, you're going to arrive before this person and be really pissed off that they're not ready or they're not there yet. Anything else Scorpio needs to know about this? And then we'll get into some oracle cards. One more shuffle here. Thank you. Anything else you need to know? King of Cups, Temperance, and the Three of Cups. What you want is coming. The Ten of Cups, the Ten of Pentacles, harmony, celebration, alignment, provided you can keep your emotions in check and balanced, because it's going to take a process. It will take time. You'll both get to 1, 2, 3 alphabet street. It's like now programmed in your spiritual, your spiritual GPS systems for your respective soul journeys. But I think you need to, this is your advice here, and you're the King of Cups, whether you're masculine or feminine. That is the, top tier of your suit, of your card suit. So you need to show up in top form. And top form, top fashion for you is being emotionally balanced, emotionally regulated, emotionally controlled. And understanding that it's going to take time with this person to reach your intended destination. Sun card to the Fool card. But you're going to get there. You both will get there. But you need to have patience. And if you don't have the patience, then tell this person not to meet you there, and you could go off and find someone else who wants to meet you at 1, 2, 3 Alphabet Street. But if you want this person to meet you there, then you need to have more control over your emotions than you do about controlling when that person gets there. You'll need to be patient, and you'll need to understand the purpose and the meaning behind why you need to be patient. Let's get 3 cards here for January, February, March here for the Scorpio Collective. One more shuffle. Thank you. What an interesting reading for you, Scorpio. We have inspiration, we have quiet strength, and we have timeless truth. At the bottom of the deck, self-awareness. I'll read these to you in a second. Three more oracle cards here, please, for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements for January, February, and March 2026. One more shuffle. Thank you. Guiding Star, Wise Owl, Flowing River. Bottom of the deck, Mossy Glen. Okay. Here in January, you have inspiration. Gain insights and wisdom from life. And Guiding Star, you are guided by the stars. Follow their celestial light. This is what you're doing. Do I invest in this connection? Do I not? Okay, it seems to be going well. I'm deciding to move forward with it. You are feeling inspired and even guided in a way to invest in this connection with this individual. In February, you have quiet strength. You're finding power in stillness, and you're waiting for the right moment to act. This is when you're deciding your right moment to stop with the procrastination, stop with the push and pull within you. Wise Owl, you're now knowledgeable. Okay, you have wisdom that has come from this experience. And so you're choosing to, I'm going to move forward in this connection because at the end of the day, this person makes me happy. And then we have March. Timeless truth. Draw from the wisdom of your past experience to connect with your inner timeless truth at this time. And then you have Flowing River, flow with life's currents. Adaptability is your strength. Yeah, it's go. You are a water sign. You're going to have to go with the flow and not demand that this person be at 1, 2, 3 Alphabet Street. And you really can't be pissed off at them if you presume they're going to be there at a specific, date and time, and you never even discussed it with them. Bottom of the deck, self-awareness. I think this is a wound in the Scorpio Collective, and it looks like it has the potential to rear its head, its ugly head in March, but we can control this if we understand our inner needs and our true feelings. And then Mossy Glen, find comfort in nature. It nurtures your spirit. So in March, there's something here about practicing meditation, yoga, walks in nature, if the weather is nice wherever you live in the world. But there's something here about grounding yourself, and you have to stay rooted and grounded in March. And like I said, not presume that this person is moving at the same speed that you are. Let's close it out here with some kippers. For those of you where you do mess up in March, sometimes we repeat patterns until we officially learn them. So if March plays out for you the way it has shown, because you don't make any of these suggested adjustments, there is reconciliation here for you with this person, but they're going to move even slower. They're going to go from Knight of Pentacles to Page of Pentacles. So I just feel like that's something you're not potentially seeing here. There's reconciliation between you and the boss, and you and the friend, you and the lover, whomever this person is. But they're going to come back a little hand shy because of what just transpired. 9 of Swords, 2 of Wands, and Judgment. Yeah, they're going to move forward with you, but they're going to do it very slow. Star to the Hangman. And that might frustrate you even more. Let's get 2 Kipper cards here for January, please. Okay, we got a couple there. We'll take them. Can we get 2 cards here for February? And then we get 2 cards here for March. Did something flip? No. Okay. I'll tell you what came out here. For January, only 1 came out upright, 2 came out sideways. You have the mature man, you have main female, and you have houses on the side. So you could be the mature man, the mature woman. I don't read body parts. This is you, mature meaning a king or queen of pentacles, deciding whether or not they're going to invest in the connection with this person, this masculine or feminine. Do you want to build this structure with them, rebuild this structure with them, you know, stay at this job? This is you being a little undecided in January. Then it looks like you're deciding you are going to work on it. This is not a false person. It's not a false connection. You also want to be authentic to yourself. You want to stop the self-sabotaging behavior or put an end to procrastination. You like how the connection here feels with this individual, and you're deciding to work on it. But then in March, there's a problem here. We could get lost in our thoughts. We could start feeling so good and that high honor that we lose track and we default to a bad habit. And then we find ourselves in the 5 of Pentacles, judication, and bad health. Very quickly, the connection can go downhill. So there's a need here for us to be very cautious in March. Again, there's something here about being self-aware of this wound that we have, that once something starts feeling good, we want things to happen quickly. And unfortunately, things don't happen in our timing. They happen in divine timing. They happen in timing with another person when we can compromise and agree to a timing, but we can't have full control and say this has to happen by this date because that serves me best. Because this other person is supposed to be your counterpart, whether that is your equal in friendship, your equal in your profession, your equal in your love relationship. This is not hierarchical where you call the shots and, you know, they're just someone who has to go along with it. So I feel like this is very cautionary for us to not default to that habit. And I think provided we don't do that, March will have a fantastic outcome for us. That is what I have for you, Scorpio, for the first 3 months of 2026. If you like that message, resonates with you, you want to claim all or part of it, please be sure to click like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hype the video if you're able to do that. And until I read for you again, I am wishing you light, love, and peace.